Hi, everybody. Hi, Tanya. Tonight, we're going to continue on with our December daily. And today, if you noticed, if you are in Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations or you're on the website, I did add more December daily 2022. Remember, this is for 2022 kits. And I added them on the website for Santa's Little Helper. So I do have some more, but they will not ship out till the 25th. More of the paper is printing, and then we will have these shipped out. But the nice thing is you can be working on the base. You can get the base done, and then when your papers come, you can get all caught up. So tonight, after our learning experiment over here, we're going to continue working on the front of page 1. And also one thing I want to mention is in some of the kits, I did already show the different red. It does not have the dots on it. There's just been, some problems with companies getting in the product. So the other one red was, and so we replaced it with Firecracker. Very similar in color, just doesn't have the bumpy texture. And then we had the Barrel Brown, but we had to put in a cafe au lait. So it is a little different, but it still goes well with the paper. So I'll be using some of this tonight to kind of give you a difference. So just in case, when we were working on the Barrel Brown, if you noticed it, hi Ray, if you noticed it was not in your, hi Caroline and Myrna, if it was not in your kit, it's because we replaced it. It is not the shimmer, but it is the cafe au lait, and it still goes beautifully. Now, a couple of things I'll be using, and I wanted to show, we did not finish this part yesterday, and we're not going to probably work on this today because I don't want to cut up a bunch of my 12 by 12 sheets, and then we're going to be making the swing tab, but it's not a urgent thing, of course, and a couple of the dies that I've used. So tonight you'll see that I'm going to be using the tags, and these are the Heartfelt Creations wonderful dies. They will pay for themselves. I'm telling you, just in the first month that you use them, and this is what it looks like. There's no more trying to fit it around the ring. There's no more. It's just a beautiful tag. And then you get corners, which I used on the wedding album. And then you have some other tabs in here you can use for swing tabs, but I did use from the ticket and tabs. And then I also use the smaller ones as we get further into the album. Hi, Sharon. And that is the swing tab that I'm using. So you want to make sure you double and triple the paper so it's good and heavy. But these are wonderful dies. You're going to use them a lot. So those are available in the store at countrycraftcreations.com. And I did cut just from my brown artisan cardstock. And I had made another album cover. I had to redo the video for the album, so I did it out of brown. So I had extras just from what I had used, and I'm going to use those for my tags. So it doesn't have to be the paper from the collection. If you have some leftover cardstock of a different color, that works too. And I already cut those. So we're going to start here with the front of page 1, where we have the flaps that open. We have the pocket and these that flap open. Hi, Judy. Hi, Diane. And no, I was able to put more Santa Little Helper kits on the website at countrycraftcreations.com. Again, the kits won't ship till the 25th. We have to cut more houses, and we're printing the paper. So as soon as the paper is printed, it could be sooner than the 25th. So on the front of page 1 is what we're going to be working on. So I really don't need that, but I need to show you what I need to have. So I will be using some brown for matting. Not a lot, actually. I don't think we will be using it this time. We're just going to use from what we used of the brown last night. So let me put this away so I don't cut into it. I just need a few strips, and that we used when we were matting. yesterday. And then you had a strip of red. If you remember, I mentioned that you would be using this. We'll be using this. Then I have some just linen from my own, from Stash. So that's what I'm going to use to mat the inside of those tags. You can use leftover paper too if you want. But from your kit, so if you have the kit, you're going to want the Claus Bakery, because I do use this on the pocket. And then we are going to use the 4x4 squares. So this is why you have the 8x8 pages, because we need the 4x4 squares. And then I will be using this back side of Claus Bakery. And I will be using, this is going to be for the back of page 2. No, I mean the back of page 1. We'll be using the spoons, and then we're going to do our matting with the fronts and the backs of these. Not the front of this one, but the back with the green, with all the greenery. We don't use this one. So those are the papers that you can pull out of your kit. And let's get started. So in your kit, now we're working on the front of page 1 down here at the bottom. And you need these following sizes. You need 4 that are 4 by 4.5. And you need 1 4x9 for the pocket. On my pockets, I always cut it down just a hair short so that it fits inside of the page nicely. So I'm going to just trim it. Sorry, I need to turn the notifications off. And I meant to do that before we started, so that they don't pop up on my screen and in front of, there we go, in front of all of the comments, just in case everybody has a question. So I just want to trim a hair off. I mean, literally just a hair off. Hi, Anne. Well, hi, Sherry. I'm glad you guys can make it this evening. And our next video tutorial on the December daily, so will be Thursday. So we won't have a live tomorrow, but we will on Thursday at 1:30. Okay, the pocket, I'm now going to put my cardstock with the 9 inch across the top, and I want to score it 1/2 inch. And let's turn to the 4 inch side and score it 1/2. And back to 9 and 1/2 inch. So we just have the 3 spaces. I mean, the 3 score lines, sorry. Now, when you're scoring your 4.5 by 4s, we need to put the 4.5 across the top of your scoreboard. And we want to score this at 1/2 inch. Let me grab this original book, so I'm going to show you something. Okay, because we have it that opens here, then we have 2 that need to come to the side. So I hope that makes sense. So Homer's going to start barking, and I apologize. Oh, hopefully they won't start up. So you don't know how to reply? This is wrong, you guys. And sometimes we find our mistakes as we're working. And this is wrong. And I should have checked this guide first. Oh, if I throw this. But it's not wrong. Okay. It's just that on the cutting guide, boy, me and tutorials lately. Okay, on the cutting guide, if you're with your cutting guide, you want to just kind of make a mark because it shows that at the bottom flaps are 4.5 by 4, and with the 4.5 across the scoreboard, you're going to score it 1/2 inch. But here's the problem. So hold on a minute. This is where my brain did not connect. Okay. It's right. Like I said, I made this back in December, so it is all for them. And that's when, you know, that I really was an ADD child. Most of you know that. And sometimes in adulthood, it does carry on. So they are. That is correct. All 4 are scored with the 4.5 across the top of your scoreboard at 1/2 inch. It is right. Okay, let's go ahead and burnish these score lines. Like I said, I haven't made it since December, you guys. We're going on almost 2 months, and I've already started on other tutorials. So the problem with that is I've got so many measurements in my head. We're going to burnish all of our score lines, even the pocket, and all 4 flaps, because we're going to mat everything before we put it down in our book. Now, the only difference is I'm just going to fold up both sides. I want to check my fit. That's why I love that Tanya remakes the tutorials. So when I start to second guess myself, she'll be like, no, it's right. Okay. So my whole idea is to go to this outer edge and then see it leaves me just a hair of space here at the hinge so that we're not hitting the hinged area and ruining our pocket. So it looks great. And I'm happy with the fit. Well, hi, Kim. And whoops. And we're going to cut our corners. Well, thank you, Jerry. But, you know, sometimes it's pretty jumbled. Now, I went across the corner. You do not want to cut into your score line if possible. But that will just kind of... Oh, you were going to block that too? Yes, just so you know, especially on YouTube, if you're here and you are wanting us to go see some other unfamily friendly channels that you're trying to post on YouTube, you will be immediately removed. And so that's the problem with YouTube. They allow that to go on. So sorry if anybody saw it, but we kind of got rid of it. Well, hi, Molly. Yes, Valentine nails are fun, aren't they? Okay, so we have our 4.5 goes this way. So we've scored it here. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to miter all the corners. And then the top one will sit on top, of course. and then it will lift up and out. So we'll do that to both of these. Get rid of all those little pieces. Okay, we need to have one to the right, one to the left, because they're going to open on each side. I'm going to start with the one on the right. So just push that tab under, and we're going to attach this to the top of the front. I started the wedding album tutorial. If you saw the wedding album with Here Comes the Bride walkthrough, I started the tutorial. I'm recording that one. Excuse me, I'm recording that one, and I'm using the pearl paper. And boy, it was cold last night. Nothing wanted to stick. So I did warm my glue up before I came downstairs today. So if you're in your basement, do warm your glue up a little bit. If your basements are cold. It's always cold. It gets even colder in February here in Utah. Okay, so that side is done. We will do all of our matting. I like to do all the matting before I put it on the book. So that is now going to be on the left-hand side. Hi, Monica. Long time no see. So to the left, and we're going to put this at the top. Matching everything up. Actually, seems to be a little bit wide, so I'm going to trim it. And then just make sure it is straight. There's no magnets. I didn't use any magnets or seam binding. Hi, Linnell, for the closure. That's what our tags are for. So your tags will keep these nice and closed. Okay, we have these two ready to mat, and our pocket is ready to mat. And so let me move those, and let's get our 4x4s. And I just used one of each, the hot chocolate and the Claus Bakery. And we are going to have to cut them down a little bit to fit on the pocket. But first, let me move the big one. Let's go ahead and just separate them. And if you put this right at 4. So if you're using Christmas Dreams, hi Sheila, be sure to look at the photos that are in your kit, because of course there's no little 4x4s. And you'll see what Tanya used. So I'm going to separate these, and then we know that this is now 4x4 because we've done our scoring. So I need to create this. I need to cut it down. It needs to be 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. So if you have the 16ths on your cutting, or on your paper cutter, just make sure you stop at the first little mark, because your marks are now, mine are in 16th. Yours might be in 8th. In 8ths. So I'm going to stop at the first, or at 3 15/16 if you want to be technical there. And then I'm going to turn it and cut it at 3 7/8. That way we keep it symmetrical there. And let's do it at the top and the bottom. Hi, Brenda. Just put this on. Now, I have to show you something. So, this is going to fit perfectly. If you want it to just be the little hot chocolate guy, you can. Or you can cut the 1/2 inch off if you want to add the brown to the bottom. And I do. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. You know what? Yes, it is, Ray. I've had the best luck with this Stampin' Up! Cutter. I'm telling you, this thing has done a really good job at staying sharp and doing these little cuts, and that's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Whoops, I can cut this. Oh, actually, so that I have that space, I'm going to cut off the bottom. I'm going to cut off 1/4 inch if you want that on the bottom. And I'm going to cut 1/4 inch off the top. And then I just want to take 1/8 off the bottom, because then I'm going to cut 1/2 inch of the brown to fill in the bottom. Or like I said, you can just leave it all the same square. So let's go ahead. I know this is a little extra cutting. And like Ray said, yes, you do want a sharp blade. And I know I'm going to be cutting that 5/8 of an inch, but I still want to do it so I keep everything squared. For a portable cutter, and I wish if I could sell these, I sure would, because I'll tell you what, the blades, I don't have to change them very often. So now I'm going to remove a 1/4 and a 1/4, and then I will remove just that 1/8, and I'm going to take it off the top because I need it to be closer so that they're a little more the same. So this guy, I can cut 1/2 inch. One strip should do us. And we want it to be 3 7/8. And we want 2 of those. Okay, let's get our pocket. Claus Bakery. We don't have too much cutting here, which is really nice because our pocket's 8 inches by 3.5. And our paper is 8 inches already, so we won't have a lot of extra cutting. But again, let's put this in our cutter because it's 3 3/8. And really, I don't have to do a lot of adjustments because see how perfectly it cut it. Now you've got these. Wait till you see what Sally's doing. She's doing a variation of the house to show you how she would decorate the house to go on the front. And I know she's going to be fussy cutting these things, so do not throw that away. Now this is 8 inches. So once again, I need to take a 1/16 off of each end so that it fits nicely on the pocket. And stays centered. So I just love how that turns out. And then we have the hot cocoa and the bakery at the top. And it just was a happy start to this album, I thought. I love it. Okay, let's go ahead and ink everything. And I'm still using Pebble, so I'll be using the Pebble Beach all the way through my album. And on December Dream, I believe Tanya used the sepia ink. Who's ready for Thursday? Thursday, are you guys ready? Watch for the video tomorrow because Thursday morning, our 3 spring lines are going to hit the website. And I'm so excited for you guys to get your hands on these, especially the Spring Awakenings, the music box. You're going to love it. And of course, we have Blossoms, which is also the Craftology box. So that goes out first. I just thought I'd throw that little tease in there. Let's see. Oh, Karen. What color? Oh, Karen. I am using, this one is the Craft, and it is a smooth artisan, but it's beautiful. It doesn't crack. It's a beautiful color. On the main, on the sample, I had used the green, the military green. No, it's kind of hard to see. It's like an olive green. You can use brown. And you do want 30 to 35 sheets. And this is the house again that I mentioned. Sally is going to be doing a little rendition of how she is decorating the inside of the house. And let me tell you, you will die when you see it. Oh, Tanya did not ink her album because the paper is beautiful and there's really no need. The pinks and light colors. So she did not distress her edges. So again, this is the Artisan Craft. And it is smooth. They do not make Craft. And for those of you that have been wanting pink, I was on the phone today with the mill, and no, they still won't make it. It's just not a popular color, they said. I'm like, are you kidding me? Pink, not popular? They obviously haven't talked to crafters. Well, they talk to me all the time. But no pink in the Artisan cardstock, but we are looking for a different cardstock to bring in. But again, it has to be up to the standards of what we want, right? We don't want cracking. We want to be able to wrap our albums, and we want it to last. So we are looking for pink. We haven't given up. Okay. Now I forgot we need to also cut our pieces for the inside, and then I need to cut the red. So I'm going to go ahead and let's map the front, and then I'll cut those other pieces that we need before we put it in the book. It's just a lot easier to put in the book. So my Claus Bakery, and then I'll put the brown strip at the bottom. You could also use that leftover red if you wanted red at the bottom. Making sure I'm putting these on the right side. Aren't those cute together? So cute. I framed these 8x8 big ones and put them on my coffee bar this Christmas. And they're in a frame. So now next year I can just pull these out and again decorate my coffee bar. They were a lot of fun to have in the frames, these images. Okay. Now let's go ahead and get the matting for the inside cut. Again, I'm using that leftover red piece that we did for the inside cover. And we're going to cut these down. These are for the back side, so I only need 2. And I need to cut these at 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. Oh, wait a minute. Is this not going to be big enough? I thought I measured mine and it was 4 by 4. I mean, oh, shoot. Maybe this one is not big enough. It is if you want a border, a bigger border. So I'm going to put this away. I guess I should have checked my measurements better. But you have 3 pieces in your kit. So I'll just cut another strip that's the correct width. It will, but if you don't mind for a 1/4 inch border around, that's fine to use. But I'll just save that for some other matting that we have. And cut 2 of them from the 12 by 12 sheet. Hi, Diane Young. How are you? That's better. Now for my ivory linen. Ray, I'm excited you were too. You're going to love this album. Oh, no, Donis. Yeah, you need a new computer someday, huh? They went fast, Joyce, so it was a good thing you did. Now on this one, I need 4 because you have to do both flaps on the inside. 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. Well, hello, Donis. I'm glad you got on. And 3. We just need 1 more. I did not ink these, so these will go on really fast. So I'm just going to turn my paper this way so I don't waste the whole strip. And if you have those scraps, this is good use of those if you have scraps. Hi, Brian. How are you? Oh, you only missed 15 minutes. And you know what? You missed the making of the pocket and the flaps. But the nice thing is you can get caught up on the recording. Okay, let's go ahead and add our matting to the inside. And to the outside. I mean, to the bottom piece. I've got something in there. Yep, a piece of paper. Thought so. You know what, Donis? I think we all go through that. I know my designers. I know I go through that. Sometimes you just can't. Sometimes I go through it, and now I'm going through I'm up all night. I just want to create. I want to design paper. I want to find images for my illustrators, and I can't. So we all go through that. You'll get it back. Well, happy anniversary, Diane. 57 years. That's wonderful. Okay, on the back will be the red. And that's great, Diane. But back to your, yes, we all lose our scrapping and crafting mojo. It leaves, it comes back. That's a nice thing. It's kind of like the cat that knows its way back home. And then it hits in spurts. Yep, the designers go through that. We all do. It's not really lost. It's just taking a vacation. I knew I had glue on there. Okay. Well, okay, good thing we have a picture that'll cover that up. Or you can also, I got a little bit of glue there, double matte. So I had mentioned I'll probably be giving the album away. I probably will end up double matting this because of that. But I won't do it right now. Okay. Just need to be a little more careful with my glue. Well, hello, C. See? Are you keeping warm? Keep trying to find a way to get down there. But this new puppy with my husband won't let me leave. He's a really good puppy, though. He's not at all like Wilbur was. I had to have a babysitter while I was live. But Homer, he's not like that at all. You're so sweet, C. I mean, you're sweet too, C. But I mean, you're sweet, Rhonda, because I have a hard time giving it away because I know there's so many boo-boos. But it's getting to that point I'm going to have to because my studio's just full. Okay. See, I've got to get with our other little Arizonans, you know, Fauna, and see what everybody is doing. Oh, Tiffany, you do make cute things, don't you, with the little 4x4 squares? And you should. That would be darling with these. Hey, let's get our book put together. I can give them all to you. And oh, please, Tiffany, I've seen the things you make. You do not want anything of mine. But that's very sweet of you to say. I'm going to start with the pocket. You definitely will get to see them all in April. I'm going to grab a couple of clothespins. Oh, they are, Caroline. Yes, they certainly are worth it. See, even Brian, he took a break. So, yeah, we all take those breaks. But we never leave. I could never leave. I love to craft. And I was talking to some friends today that said their mothers retired and that they've been retired almost a year and they just don't know what to do with themselves. And I thought, you really need to craft. You've got to craft. You would have so much to do. You won't have any money, but you would have a lot to do. And they're like, craft, why would I want to do that? And I thought, why wouldn't you? So I'm really glad that I do have this to do. So if I ever do retire, I will keep busy. Oh, my October afternoon is hidden. It's not so much hidden as it is buried. Well, I'm glad you're doing so good, Brian. I hope you're doing good. Okay. Now let's make sure the pocket's not stuck where it doesn't belong. I like to go down a couple of times. Make sure no glue's in there. I'm kind of doing both, Donis. I'm doing a 5:30 and then Thursday I'm doing a 1:30 to give everybody that chance. And it's kind of nice for me. And I like to have that afternoon. I get to see those who haven't been who I don't get to see in the evening. Okay, so now we're going to put our flaps down on top and then we'll mat the inside. And when you do add these down in your book, make sure you go clear over to this edge. Clear over to the outside edge. Things are getting kind of thick, so I'm just going to use the clothespins here and there to help hold it down. Like I said, it's a little bit cold. So you might find your glue's not drying as fast. Well, I can't wait to meet Mr. Wonderful. Now we want to go over here on the left-hand side. And you do want to make sure that you're right at the edge, but not on the hinge. Oh, cool. Yep, he can play the guy. Yeah, he can play with the babies. Tell him to take the baby and play cards. Tell him he's got to take the baby to play cards with him. Who remembers going with your mother to play bridge at her friends during the day and you had to go and sit and watch the old ladies play bridge? Back then you thought, oh my God, why is my mother bringing me here? And now you're the old lady playing bridge with and taking the baby, right? But now we're crafting. Okay, so we have our flaps that open, and we do need to mat the inside, but this is where, now if you don't have any of these dies, maybe you've got some graphic 45 tags, or you just want to cut some tag, you just need to cut your cardstock, and that's fine. These come out to be 6x4. So you could just cut 6x4 squares. It does not have to be tagged. So don't feel like if you don't have them, you can't create your album. These are short, but see, you can just use 2 squares that are 4x6. Well, hi, Pamela. You just missed, we did this front page. We're almost done. And then I will mat these, which they come with the inside matting. Where are those little guys? Here, yeah. And I don't go back and do the matting until I'm finished and use my scraps. So all of this is just with my scraps. Yes, you have to get these dies. I use them, and I use them over Christmas. I used the smaller set, and these were all made. These were the gift tags. So you are going to get a lot of use. It just sits out next to my die machine. There's no excuse that I don't use them. Best investment in crafting I've ever made. So I will go back and do that. But let's go ahead and let's mat the inside of our page. And I used the stripes because I wanted to keep it, use that on the inside of our front cover. So I kind of wanted to keep the stripes going so that they matched. And I just mat an inch down into my pocket. So it just has to be 6 inches. And our page is 8 inches wide. So I'm just going straight across at 6. Yes, you can make them with the rounded. You sure could. You can round off your corners and do some decorative edges. And we want to cut this at 8. No, we want to cut it at 7 7/8. Yes, they are 8. And down inside that will go. Check our fit. Oh, Jerry and Rhea. I didn't even notice that you two had the same last name. That's kind of cool. Don't need to ink the bottom. I did think of the Claus Bakery. I really did. But I thought, I'm not going to sit here and waste paper by cutting it. You would just cut your 4 inches off. But I thought, no, because I'll end up wasting more paper. But if you want to, you certainly can when you're just getting it cut and ready for your page. Let's bring this up a little bit more. And of course, there, the glue is going to start drying super fast now. Got my room's warmed up. Oh, I just pray everything goes well for you, Tomalee. When is your surgery date? Is it like, it's this month, isn't it? Well, it can't do anything but go good. So let's get the glue smeared to all our edges. February 14th. Well, we'll be thinking about you for sure. Those I'll mat later. But right now, just place them in the pocket and they're going to hold that down. And let's do the back page. So on the back, we have, put this back together real quick. Isn't that cute? Love this one. And then this was just cut out of one of the tags, which we'll do last. So we're going to have the flap. Then we have the 3, what ends up to be the 3 pockets. And there is a big one here on top, and you can put a mat all the way through, but I didn't. You could, what I'll probably do next December is I'll put cards and different things like that inside of there. And then in the walkthrough, I show the copper cardstock that you can purchase separate. And that's what you see as my inserts. It's a heavier cardstock. It's like 108 a pound. And it just really accented it. That's why I loved it. And I just cut tags to go with our little pocket here. Okay, so let's get our cutting guide, and I'll grab my pieces. And so we're on the back of page 1, your pockets. So if I keep up this momentum, we just might get to the front of page 2. So we want to do the pockets and the flaps for this one. And you need 4 4x8 pieces. You need 1 7 by 8 3/4. So the 7 by 8 3/4 is the flap. And we're going to go ahead and score that. Now I did round the corners, and you can use any corner rounder, or you can use a decorative, or you definitely can just leave it plain. So we're going to start with the 7 by 8 3/4 with the 8 3/4 across the top. Now I did score this at 3/4 of an inch. We're going to have all those pockets sitting on top of it, and I wrap it. So I wanted a little bit more to grab a hold of. That 3/4 of an inch will do that for you. We'll round those corners in just a moment. Then we have the 4 by 8s. And we're going to score these all the same. You're going to score on 3 sides. And we just score 1/2 inch to create our 3 pockets. Oh, wait a minute. I did not score. Stop. Let me back up. I did close the bottom of all of them. That's right. I did, because I didn't want them to go through. I just wanted to double check my sample. So we are scoring all of them. And you can put, I did have to cut down my mats. After I cut them on the die, I did cut the bottom and round. I just rounded the corners. See, it'll hold a 4 by a 3 3/4 by 5 inch. So almost you can put on the side your recipe cards in each one of the pockets if you're going to put Christmas recipes in there. I'm going to score all 4. And I do have more of the colors coming in, Rhea. I love the copper too. And we have a beautiful blue that's coming. Some more reds. They're great for matting, and then they're heavy enough you don't have to mat with your cardstock if you don't want to. We don't have to worry about like pre-fitting, because these are going to sit in the middle, and they're going to have a 1/2 inch on each side. I put them down the middle of the book. And so we're just going to make all 4 of them. Wait, is it my computer, or is my video stopping every now and then? I don't know. Excuse me. I hope not. Okay, I think if it's stopping on YouTube, you might want to switch over to Facebook. If it's stopping on Facebook, you might want to go over to YouTube, Donna's. So hand on over to YouTube, because it's not stopping in YouTube that I know of. I do know on Facebook I keep getting a waiting for signal, which makes no sense. But I don't think it's doing that on YouTube. In fact, we'll take a peek here. Oh, thank you, Caroline. Yeah, Caroline said it's streaming well on YouTube. So we are going to go ahead and just cut off all these corners. I'm going to cut right through those 1/2 inches. Try not to cut into the score line here at the square. If you do, it's not a big thing. It just might make a little hole at the bottom. Oh, you're a chicken. Oh, Tanya, it won't let you post anything? I do want to make sure nothing touches. That's good. If it does overlap, then I just trim it a little bit more. I know that with my new camera, I had to turn down. Facebook won't let you use your 1080. I don't know if this is new, but that's what was slowing it down on my others and causing so much problems. I have a feeling it's because YouTube is now, so many people use it as their video platform. They had to turn down the from 1080. Oh, well, Tanya, I will fix that when we're done. Oh, Sandy has a tool by her name. I don't see it. We will get that fixed. Okay, and let's go ahead and with our cover and miter those corners. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the big. I like to use the biggest. And get rid of all of our scraps. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now you don't get so much of the ugly spammers. You get the people that want to bring you to their other channels. And it's kind of like, no, we don't need that. We're crafting. It baffles me, really, that they prey on crafters' videos for their sex videos. Really, I know. Like, we're going to stop what we're doing to go see what they're doing, you know? We're more interested in what we're doing with paper. Crazy guys. Okay. So this sits in the middle of the book. And I don't mat the whole page. So I did just mat this 1/2 inch on each side. And I put this in the middle. Now, that's going to sit on top of that bottom pocket. And I forgot to grab a spacer. Because I'm going to use my 1/2 inch on that side. So let's, we're going to, I'm going to mat the pockets after we put them in the book. It's easier, and I'll show you why. And I mat this, except for the bottom one. I'll mat that piece before I put it in the book. So you'll want to grab a pencil. No, oh, did I use, yes, I did use magnets. So I did use a magnet, but I have to tell you, so let me show you. If you want to use a magnet, I did. The magnet is here under this top pocket. You're going to want a whole package of magnets, Donis, if you're going to use magnets, but you don't have to use magnets. So magnets here and there. Once you put your tags, you know, it does lessen. That's why I kind of stuck them to the edge, basically in the middle. You can use the seam binding. What I would do is put it on the inside of this pocket so it wraps over, not in the matting. So I would just lift up the pocket, put it right there. You know what? The heart die set is completely out of stock. They don't even have it at Heartfelt Creations anymore. I feel so bad. And I love it. I love it. I know. And then you would put your seam binding here and tie it, or you can actually bring it all the way up from the bottom. Otherwise, I did use 1, 2, use 3, 4, there's 5. So I used a whole package. You're going to want a whole package and then 1 extra magnet, or just use 1 extra tie somewhere. So you have the 1/2 inch spacer you can use, but I used our 1/2 inch on our page as my guide. So you can do either. And one thing that I like to do when I'm using the spacers this way, I just clip them on. So if I wanted to use it over on this side, but I would just clip it on. And then I just line up my pockets like so. And we're going to go all the way up. So you can use that as your guide, or you can just use your 1/2 inch right there. Okay. Now at the top, what I did is I left about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm not measuring it. It's just a basic eyeball. And I'm going to grab a pencil and we're going to mark the bottom. So I'm spacing these out just to see, because this one I know exactly where to put it. These guys, I really don't know yet. So I just lay my pockets down and then I eyeball the spacing. I don't measure it. You certainly can if you want to have it perfectly evened out. I'm going to bring this one up just a little bit. And looking at it, I'm happy with that. So I'm going to remove the bottom, make a mark where that one goes. I don't need to make a mark on this bottom one because I know where it goes. Make a mark there, and we've already made, I'll make it up just a little higher, mark it there. So now I know where these pockets go. And I do want to start at the top when we glue them down because we're going to stack them. This one is the craft, Ray. It's my craft cardstock. The original album is the green, the army green, kind of an olive green. And then I did do the other album tutorial when I remade the cover in brown. So definitely can use any color because it's going to complement, even if you use red. Oh goodness, you could use red. You can just use any color with this paper. Whoops. We need to get back into our group so I can make sure there's no questions on scrapbookers because I'm not watching that one. Okay, so we're going to start gluing our pockets down. We'll start with the top. Yes, I like the brown too. Well, let's be real. I like the brown. I like the green. I really do love all the colors. I love how Bobby on our design team, she uses so many different colors that I never think to use on the base of my projects. They come out really awesome. Okay. Now, just to help keep it straight, pushing that bottom over a little bit. And again, I have that 1/8 to 16th inch at the top. Let's make sure it's not stuck where it doesn't belong. Oh, I am too. But I don't think they're going to let me keep the denim. It's not a big seller. So the denim blue may not be around much longer. Okay, that's the second line I created. And I'm just checking to make sure it's straight. We're good. These do take just a little bit longer to put on. Only because I don't want them to move and I don't want them to be stuck in the wrong places. I know, and I'm sorry if you use the denim a lot. You better stock up. Well, I don't even think there's any more to stock up on, Sheila. I think I am now completely out. And there is no more. When they restarted the mills after Christmas, see, the paper mills, they basically close at Christmas time. They close for 2 weeks. And they use that time basically to get caught up and to clean the mills. Everything has to be cleaned. And that's when they came back and told us that they're not going to make the denim blue anymore. Aren't dogs funny? Speaking of dogs, you're going to hear Wilbur. He's snoring. Okay, now the last one will sit right at the bottom. And just like that, we have 4 pockets on our page. So I'll just line that up at the bottom, and then our flap is going to sit on top. No, I had put the flap down first when I made this the first time, and I didn't like it. So I put the flap on top of the page because it was just bulking at the bottom, but you can put it down there, Elizabeth, if you want it to be underneath that 1/2 inch gusset, absolutely, it can go down. That when I just designed it that way. I liked it, and I mean, you can. It will not interfere. Let me show you. It won't interfere. You definitely can put it from the top down. It was just a different design look. But absolutely, you can change this however you like. So at this point, we will be putting the magnet down here very soon. Or you can put your ribbon. So if you want, and you have plenty of seam binding in the kit, just like we did for the cover, if you want your seam binding, you can put it right here on the 3/4 inch and it can come up the top. You can put a piece, like I said, inside that pocket and it can tie. So you'll want to do that now if you want it to come from the bottom all the way up, or you can change it and do the same thing, but put your ribbon here, then you'll have a ribbon down here and it ties. So you definitely, it's, yeah, your project, your album, if you want to switch that, that's, now is the time. Okay, just match it up side to side. There's some tools, things in the way. The top pocket, again, you can put, so let me show you. Sometimes I get those little 3x5 Christmas cards and I'll probably put that in the top pocket. But I was going to actually put these in a shorter version and have them stick out the top. But you can still put your recipe cards in there. They'll stick out a little bit, which I like things sticking out of my pockets. And so if you put them on your side, on their side, your 4x6 recipe cards are going to fit in here. And that was the whole purpose until I had all this left over and I'm like, oh, I like those. So anything can go in that pocket. You might have a Christmas outing and you want to put tickets and tags in there. Gosh, just about anything. So let me grab my basic gray magnets, which we have them in the store. And I do use the large. And one thing I've got to see, I think I'm going to change it a little bit so that it actually hits instead of at the top. I'm going to put it on my second pocket. Homer's learned how to howl, and I don't know what he's howling at. So I'm just going to stick that in the middle. No, that was Donis. That was Homer. Oh, I was going to mat this before I put it in the book, but you know what? It's okay because really it's not going to be that hard to mat. So I think that's going to be a really good place on my second pocket. And we want to grab our sheets now. First one I'm going to use has the spoons on it. Oh, what's he barking at? Sorry, just a moment. Okay, we got that settled, right? 7 inches. Should be 7 by 8. He sees himself in the mirror is what he's barking at. Okay, so we've got 7 inches wide. I'm going to cut that at 6 7/8. By 7 7/8. Oh, he's going to be a stinker. I'm trying to get my, there we go, open. Now, I'm going to go ahead and round off my corners to match. I know, isn't there something about the sound of the magnets? I love it too, Tiffany. You know, I don't know why I try it on so many times. It's just going to go in the same place. Wilbur's really kind of quiet these days. Donis, he really isn't. Since Homer's come along, he's still mad at me. That's all I can say. He is still mad at me. Big time. Okay, now for the back side. The back side, you're going to need another piece of that with the spoons. I should have had you pull them both. I wasn't thinking so. And I did use this opposite side. Yes, he is great, Ray. You know, I still have some of the tennis balls you sent him after he was neutered. She sent a case of tennis balls to Wilbur for what he lost. And we still have some of them. It's so funny. He has grown. He's going to be 5 years old this year. So we need to cut it, but from this edge. It's 7 inches, so 6 7/8. And I'm going to use this side, so we'll put this away. And I'm using the back side because I wanted more emphasis. I mean, more of the plain spots for photos. My magnet needs to be fixed. Okay, let me check it in 7 7/8. So my magnet needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed. No, it looks okay, I think. I'm going to assume it's okay. It did go fast. No matter what you're using, if you want to use the darker side, I did use the darker side. Just make sure it's not upside down. You do have the graphics, so we're going to go this way. And I'm going to round off the corners. Oh, okay. I was kind of waiting for you to answer, Judy, before I put it down, because I know sometimes you do see something different than I do on the camera. And then you've got a really nice spot for a photo, and it just frames it in beautifully with the greenery. You know, in all reality, if you didn't want to ink your edges, you don't have to. So don't feel like this is a necessary step. I like the look. But if you don't have any ink, it's okay. Okay. And because I am using the wet adhesive, I do like to rub around that magnet a little bit. And now for our pocket matting. So our pockets are 7 inches. I kind of do. I ink everything too. But I know if you don't have the ink, don't worry. I did have a question on that earlier. No, you still just make your projects. We need the other 12 by 12. And I did use, of course, the back side. You could strategically place that. It'd look really cute, but I wanted to go all with the greenery. And we need to do some measuring. I just want to, first of all, I'm going to measure the pocket. And it is 7 inches, but my bottom one is, they're 3.5. But inside, you don't have to go 3.5. It looks like I'm going to go 2 2.25. So I'll do my first one at 3 3/8, and then I'm just going to go 2 1/4. And I did not put anything at the top one. Oh yes, I did. I put a strip in there. You don't have to, but we'll see how it looks. So I'm going to turn this and just cut straight down the middle at 6 7/8. So I'm going to start with this, the bottom, so that I have that design there at 3 3/8. And then 2 1/4. And you're going to want to do that 3 times. And I want to end with the border, so I turned it around. So now I have the border at the top, the scrolly corner. I'll have it at the top and the bottom. And we'll just work our way up. This will be at the top. I'm not going to say anything to jinx it, but we're doing good time here. Good night, Tomalee. Oh, Beth, I love it. It is actually shining on us now. I know it's hard to see. I really love the new light. Oh, did you get the floor? We got the new. Oh, we're shedding here. I got the Cricut lamp. I got actually, come on, let's be honest. I got one of each. I'm not going to lie here. So I got them both on my work area. I love them. I am really impressed with this Cricut light. And I know they're pricey, but let me tell you what, at night, I used to go upstairs and I had to use moisturizing eye drops. I couldn't even stand to read. I'd go up and try and read. My eyes just hurt just from the my fluorescent lights. And my eyes don't hurt anymore. So my lights came last week. Like I've had them a week. I love them. I love the new Cricut lamps. They really do give out nice light. And you can change it from bright, or you can change it to daylight, or the softer. I'll tell you what, they're wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Love it. Never in my life would I spend that much on a light. But I did, and I'm glad I did. You lost it. What did you lose? Oh, Donis, you lost your Cricut Joy? Okay, that's my top piece, that squirrel. Then these guys. So I'm keeping the border all to one side. Kind of keeping them in order there. Yep, that was, you know what? That's exactly what I told my husband. He's like, you paid what for what? I said, look, it's Amazon. If I don't like them, I'll send them back. I promise they won't just sit in a corner. And even he's like, oh, these are really neat lights. Yeah, I'm not returning it either. Nope. These are the new Cricut lamps, Joyce, and they sure do. Well, so far they've been living up to their name. I'm very pleased with it. John, yeah, you know what, Ray, they are, but I don't know. I haven't had to get the eye drops out for a couple nights now after working. Okay. They look like a spaceship on the lamp itself. It's nice and round, and then it's flat. So I had my doubts too, and then I watched Jennifer make her. I'm like, oh my, I should not have watched her. Do you know what? Oh, Caroline, I have odd lights too. I don't even turn them on. They hurt my eyes. No, they're not this. You go check out Jennifer Maker. She does a video, the Cricut Jennifer Maker with the new light, and she's not sponsoring them either. I'm not either. I'm just very, very happy with the product. Yes, if you are on this computer, which I know you are at 3 a.m, it does hurt your eyes. Now it's up to you. You do have this little, let me close this. You have this little piece. If you left a little opening, you don't really see it, but if you do want to, unless you want to save that one and tuck that down there, it's kind of hard to get. But see, you're barely going to see it. So I'm not going to add it this time. Now I am going to take this piece because we need to add it to each side of our pocket. And that's 1/2 inch. And I didn't cut it quite 1/2 inch. What I do is I stop. No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't go 3/8. So I kind of went in between 3/8 and this. Well, it's actually on the 16th mark. Yep. I think that's going to be fine for both sides. This side, I could actually go the full 1/2 inch. So I'm going to cut one at 1/2. And then we need to cut at 7 7/8. The length of our page. Nope, our pages are 8 1/2. So 8 3/8. Just make sure I make sure I hold it down tight so it doesn't move on me. So this is the wider. I'll stick that on that side, and this is my little bit shorter one for that side. That way we don't use a whole sheet of paper. There was no sense in putting down a whole sheet. The only thing with, I know you guys are talking about the Cricut Joy, but my small lights, yeah, I could pick up and take to an event with me. I gotta quit. I need a new sponge. Sorry, I'm not in the camera because it's shedding. The Cricut lamps, no, you can't. You really can't. I was surprised at how heavy they are. These are no lightweight lamps. They have almost like a steel bottom to them, and the arms. Oh my gosh! And they are so cool because they're like a glider when you move the lamp part. So they definitely are built well. So I was quite happy with that. Okay, we're doing really good. I am getting into, that's upside down, the 2 hours. So what I'm going to do is just go over the measurements for Thursday because it looks like we're going to average a page a night. We've got a couple that we can get 2 pages in a night because I'm trying to get this spaced out, and I may do a couple of recordings. I'll see how the weekend goes so that I have it recorded, and then I can post it right after the live. But it looks like we will only be able to do about a page a session, but we will be done by the end of February. Oh, I hope to be done before then, because I know you guys want to move on. I've got a wedding album I'm filming for you, and I have another project with love letters, and I can't wait for you to see that one. So we want to get through our December daily for this year, and there you go. There is that page 1. So we've got our pockets. We have the front. Absolutely love this. My favorite page. And let me give you the measurements that you're going to want for Thursday. So at 1:30, we'll be creating the front of page 2, but I am going to give you these measurements. Now, I didn't use a closure on this one because with this with the fold out, it's really heavy. And I did. Sorry, I did use a magnet right here. So I needed to check it first. We have a pocket. We have our flap. I'm going to give you those measurements. And then we are going to create the back of page 2. And guess what? I get to redeem myself on Thursday because I'm going to show you, if you haven't watched Michelle Allen's tutorial on creating the waterfall, well, you can watch hers, or you can take a chance with me on Thursday because I am redeeming myself and doing it correctly. And then we've got the cute little pockets over here. And that is one of those squares that, remember, I mentioned when we were doing our matting for here. We're going to be using one of those little squares. And these are those. Oh, I just can't tell you how much I'm in love with these heartfelt creation tags. Have I told you how much I'm loving these? I'm loving these because they're so, I mean, you get the inside, you get everything that you need to create a finished product, and it's just awesome. So Thursday, 1:30, let me get you the cutting guide so that if you don't have it, I'll get you the sizes that you're going to want, because we are going on 2. Can you believe we're going on the 2 hours? You've done well. So front of page 2. I've got my everything cut, but you need a 4.5 by 9.5 inch piece of cardstock. You're going to want a 7.5 by 8.5, just one. And you want 4 that are 5 by 6. So once again, a 4.5 by 9.5, 7 1/2 by 8 1/2, and 1 5 by 6. And that's going to be for the front. Now for the back of page 2, we have a few more pieces because of those pockets. Oh, you're welcome, Jerry. We want a 4.5 by 10.5, a 4.5 by 9.5, and a 4.5 by 4 3/4. So those 3 measurements, if you notice, Those were the waterfall sizes also, but we did them at 7. So see, you can take these measurements, you keep the same length that Michelle does, but you change your width. So we wanted a smaller waterfall. So easy, except for when I teach it, right? But I'm going to study it tomorrow. She laughed when I told her. Then we need a 4.5 by 7. And for those little pockets on the side, you want 5 4 by 4 1/4 inch pieces. And that is Thursday at 1:30. And that is probably as far as we will get because there are so many pieces, unless I do a lot of prep and get the cutting done of the matting, and then we can move faster. If so, I will try and move on to our front of page 3 so I can get you guys through it. And then I will be setting the tutorials for next week. There might be I might be throwing a Saturday in there. I will let you know on Thursday's show so that we maybe can get through these. And that will just leave us with this last page, because this one's going to take a little while cutting it with you, and I don't want to go fast. It isn't hard, but it just takes a little time. It's actually really fun to make. Tanya did a good job designing this. So this was all she designed it and said, "Would you put this in the December daily?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes, it's darling. I just love it." Okay, guys, I will see you on Thursday at 1:30, and I'll be right back here on Scrapbookers and YouTube. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful rest of the night.